Greetings, relators. Thank you, Kelly, for the invitation to the presentation of this symposium. For some who don't, I figure most people in this audience have heard of me or know me already. I'm SunBôw TrueBrother, my author's name. Also called Bo by many people. So due to circumstances, I cannot be live in real time at the symposium. So we are doing this pre-recording as I was committed to be part of it and was booked. The reason is simply because I had 2 losses in my family last week, my father and my brother. And I'm going to be on the road for funerals on the day of the symposium. So hence this is a pre-recording for my participation. So there's many things we could talk about. The theme is around shamanism. There's an infinite subject we could talk about for lifetimes. I would just like to convey a few basic tips or knowledge that I have learned from experience and from the guidance I have received, namely from our elders, Sasquatch, among others. I often refer to the Sasquatch as elders or spirit guides, or as part of our greater cosmic family, because they are not alone on their side doing their work. They are part of a much greater team. I include star elders, nature spirits, elementals, different other types of intelligent life forms, non-human intelligence, as well as different dimensions, including the ones in the invisible world that we call spirit world, including all our departed relatives, our ancestors, and the ancient ones that have kept watching over us or helping on our path if we only open and reach out for the help and guidance. There are things I might say that I might not be very popular. The purpose is not to be popular, but to be authentic, to be truthful, to express the truth the best we understand, which is not often popular. First, I have been saying often that I've been asked what brought me to connect with the Sasquatch, and it's been 40 years of encounters to start with, but what brought me to a close connection with the Sasquatch is, as I've said a few times, it took 33 years of shamanic training, preparation and learning with various elders of different indigenous nations, and also first-hand experiences to develop my gifts and my skills and understanding, and through ceremonies. So those 33 years for me were necessary before I could be ready to go and openly contact the Sasquatch and converse, communicate. So what we call a CE5, close encounter of the fifth kind, which is willing, willful connection and communication with a non-human intelligence. So that taught me, people often ask me, what do the Sasquatch have to say? And of course, they said a lot through the Sasquatch Message to Humanity book series, through other channels. I often share messages from different channelers on my website when they resonate, when they sound authentic to me. So what they have to say also depends to who they have to speak. There are, like I said, loads of information in the Sasquatch Message to Humanity, as well as in the Encyclopedia of All Things Sasquatch that they guided me to write after. That cover a lot, actually, most questions I'm commonly asked. So I tend to more and more refer people to this article I wrote, to that chapter in my books that will answer in much greater detail what the Sasquatch have to say than what I can render in real time, for instance, in a conversation. There's also who are they talking to? Are they talking to humanity at large, like they did in the book? Yet we understand it's only a part of, a small part of humanity that is open and receiving those teachings, this knowledge. And we also understand that sometimes they speak to us, and it's not for the large public. It could be very intimate things about our personal life, our personal evolution and missions, what we have to do, guidance for our next steps, and like all spirit guides, actually. So what makes them, what they tell us is not always meant for everybody to hear or to, and at other times they also share a message for a small group or inner circle, let's say, or people who have more experience with them. We will pick up easier what they have to transmit. So this is one of the things of what do they have to say? What do they have to say? Like I said, it's pretty well detailed in the message, and we could repeat it, but there's also an evolution. Sometimes there's updates, and we have seen major planetary changes in the last couple of years, a few years, that bring us with new realities and new situations to deal with, to face. And that also might prompt our spiritual guides to assist with more guidance and additional teachings. The other issue is who is talking. I think that's a very important point, because when I started meeting Sasquatch, and even like on a regular basis before I even understood or could assimilate the experience or could openly just communicate, it took a while. For me, I was meeting a consciousness that could manifest through individual messengers that I could either hear or see. It could walk on my roof or around my camp, or move things, or whisper to my ear, or sit on my bed, or all kind of different ways they could manifest their presence. And it took me a while before I understood who are those beings, those entities. Before I was face to face with one, even after, I was still trying to process this kind of paranormal phenomena. So, who is talking? Then I went, like most of my readers know by now, or auditors in various interviews I gave, that when I first started having conversation and close encounters in 2015, there were months where I started channeling and writing and sharing online their messages. And I had met a few. Actually, it went pretty fast. As soon as I started meeting them everywhere. Several individuals. So there was, of course, a main channel, like a main guide that was assigned to me for my spiritual learning, but also for the teachings I have been asked to transmit. But he was never alone. He was never alone, and the first things he did after we met was to introduce me to his relatives in various parts. So for months I was communicating with the Sasquatch. It never came to my mind to even ask a name, or because it's always been like a collective consciousness, a council of others talking to me, although at first more through one channel. So when Kelly asked me before book 1 was completed, what was the name of my elder, my guide, I've told that story before. He hesitated a long time. He tried to kind of bypass giving a name, because this was not very much of a point for him, because those highly evolved telepathic beings don't need names or even words to communicate. They can transmit their thought forms directly, with images, with sounds, with feelings, information that brain decodes on its own rhythm. So it was a bit. That's one thing I'd like to tell today, is that it took a long time before, and he kind of made me understand that there were consequences with giving a name. It's like fixing into, let's say, a written form, an entity that has thousands of years of incarnation, of life plus incarnations. So he said, okay, you can call me Kamu. And so this name has been known since, and it's been known worldwide by now by thousands of people, and several dozens told me they have had contact with him, encounters. There's over a dozen, maybe 2 dozens that have said they have channeled it. So Kamu is still with me, still around. It's not this kind of eternal connections don't depend on any external factors. It depends on our internal availability. He just came to me recently again for important teachings about my own path. But Kamu is one. You call him the eldest elder, because from my understanding, he's the oldest Sasquatch still living. But the more and more I worked with him, the more and more I worked with a collective consciousness. And as even the readers must have noticed in BookTube, for instance, there's several different guides who sent the information for me to channel. At times, collectives. So that's also a way, because Kamu, one thing I've learned, like from all great spiritual elders that I've met, including us humans, some of us, is never wanted to bring the attention on himself. He's never wanted to have his name repeated and used, or people call upon him or summon, or all that stuff. That's why a name has consequences. And that's why he gave me that name, Kamu. Because a lot of people who have heard and used his name don't know its real meaning. Its real meaning is, which I actually found out later afterward, is a pretty much generic term. It's a name that, if we refer to the ancient Ainu language, indigenous people of Japan, the name Kamu, or Kamui, I'm not sure the pronunciation, very close anyway, corresponds pretty much to the definition he gave me himself of his name, which means, he said, farsighted, the one who sees far, Right? Ainu, it means which covers all, in reference to the sky and to heavenly beings. That's a title for heavenly or highly evolved spiritual beings. And I found out just like last year or so that in the Sasquatch language of British Columbia, which is actually pretty much around the territory where I've met Kamu and many of his relatives. Well, his name means people. So he asked me to share this today because this is not about Kamu. This is not about any individuals. It is about interspecies communication, about disclosure, about connection with our greater cosmic family. The Sasquatch are our closest relatives, so they are the ambassadors, the messengers connecting us with the Star Council, the Council of Star Elders. And that's what they're here for. That's what they've been telling me anyway, that they're trying to do, to help us remember first our true essence, our spiritual nature, our multidimensional existence, which means we exist on various planes and dimensions, realms, beyond this physical linear time plane that we all see, that we're also familiar with in our brains and actual level of consciousness. So this is what they're wanting me to update today, to put to clarify from the guidance I've been receiving the last few years. Us humans, we are like herd animals, or we could say pack animals. Our instinct, but also mostly our social conditioning, is pushing us somehow. It's we have the tendency to always look up for the leader, for a chief, a president, a messiah, a savior, the alpha, someone we can like rely upon and that will do the work for us. Well, that is basically spiritual laziness. Nobody will walk the path for us or do the work for us. Of course, we have many helpers, we have teachers, we have guides. It is just fair and appropriate to honor them, to thank their contribution in our evolution. However, all the true spiritual teachers and masters I've met, whether human or not, are not looking for disciples. They are not looking to have praises or attention on themselves, or to be worshipped or adulated. They are actually helping us by their example and the teachings they have learned themselves. How to become the master ourselves, how to find the master within. Only then can we really assume our spiritual identity and mission, because we're not, it's not like a free ride, like, oh, I'll just sit back and watch it go, and some of my leaders and masters will take care of it for me. Well, there might be cases where they'll give you a free ride, but don't expect it for the rest of eternity. If you don't do your steps yourself to go catch the ship, you might miss the ride. So what is Sasquatch, the Star Elders, what are they teaching us? It's to raise our consciousness into a higher spiritual understanding, basically. How do we do that? It starts by first recognizing our spiritual nature, our multidimensional extension, existence. And then it works with work. There's no shortcut. You cannot buy passage to heaven or indulgence, or take a shamanic course for a weekend and become accredited healer or whatever. It's not how it works. How it works is with work. Well, it's not fun to hear, but that's the truth of it. What work? Well, first of all, work on ourselves. How can you be a healer or a teacher if you have not worked on your own healing and assimilated the teachings yourself that you carry? It can be done, but then it goes into like losing authenticity and putting up facades and playing roles and very often playing games. And we see a lot of that. And I'm not here to judge others or their ways or what to do. Just everyone is free to go along with what resonates with their own heart, their own consciousness, and their own experience. But we have to be aware that there are different levels of let's say authenticity. Sasquatch medicine, as in the 7 grandfather teachings of the Anishinaabe, is honesty, because they are telepathic, so they don't lie and they cannot be lied to. So there's no games with them. You cannot just like pretend. They see right through your soul, so they see where you're at, what you're thinking, what's your intention, and better than often that we do ourselves. So same with all great spiritual masters or guides. So what is the work they ask us to do? Well, it's first work on ourselves, work on our healing. Well, or does it mean? It means efforts, time, energy that you invest in your spiritual evolution. It means that you work on your lifestyle, on your habits, on your attitude, on your intentions, on your output, on your contribution, on your reactions, all these things that make you, well, as we're all learning, but that make you more and more a better human. If you learn to work and eventually master, or at least keep in check the ego, that also means that you're not doing any of this for yourself, for whatever you can, what's in it for me, or what can I, what's my reward, you know, like, of course, that's a human attitude. You work, you want to pay. But if you do spiritual work, the result is your pay. The result is, even if you did one good thing today to make you a better person, or if you help someone to become a better person, or better, more peaceful, more understanding, through advice or example or teachings, whatever. But then when we work on ourselves, we realize we're not alone in this. It's one thing to work on our personal healing, but it also helps others around. But we are part of a collective, of a first community, family around us. We have peers, we have people we interact with, close and far, and a greater scale humanity, and even a intergalactic cosmic family. So do all our thoughts and words and actions, or most, let's hope, are focused on trying to help this greater family and our immediate community to start with? Or is it self-serving? Is it like, oh, okay, what can I get out of it? Fame or admiration or whatever, money, well, good luck with that. But so what can I get out of it? It's like, it's the healing and the learning that I'm going to experience myself and be able to share. So that's basically the basis of what we call shamanism, or actually even spirituality at large. It's walking the spiritual path, walking the sacred road, living a life of prayer, or spiritual medicine work, and making it a daily habit as much as we can, and or taking part in spiritual circles when we can, ceremonies, and this way we can evolve and grow and get stronger. And what's the purpose of all this? Is so we can in turn help others in their path. We become elders. How do we become elders? Is through a long practice. So that's one of the main things they wanted me to say today. Other than that, to continue on this, to contribute to our collective healing, which contributes to the greater evolution, raising our collective consciousness. We need to find our mission at some point. ask for it if we don't know. Pray for it. Ask for guidance. Develop our gifts or know what they are and put them in service. That means bringing consciousness, disclosure of the truth, of the knowledge we have access to. Also, acts of love, showing our love, showing how we care, and not just to show it, but to manifest, to make it, use it as a medicine. It's a power. It's the greatest power, actually, and we can say that on the larger global scale, we are witnessing right now some unprecedented historical prophetic events. There's one thing the Sasquatch message to humanity has described and mentioned a lot that I heard less about that topic from the other channelers, or most of them. Let's say it's not a topic that is very popular, that is too often addressed. Let's call it evil, for instance, or yeah, everybody can understand this term. Reference to the lower lords or the dark lords, who basically are entities who are bringing this karma or maintaining it. But of course, all humans have to do their own cleanup, their own keep themselves in check and upgrade regularly with spirit. With our, we have no account to give to anyone except to spirit, creator, the one, our maker, the one that gave us this life and consciousness to evolve with. However, there's a huge, we are always accountable for all our acts, actions, and words that we did or did not do. And so this accountability is basically spiritual maturity. It's like, it's not gonna be some savior who's gonna take away your sin, or this Sasquatch master who's gonna now take care of us, or even that, head of state or hero. That's the elite. The cult of the elite is to keep us always looking up for someone else to take care of us, to do our own work. Spiritual responsibility is the opposite, is doing our own work to start with, and not depending on any other outside influence or leader or master, because only us are accountable and responsible for our own steps. So that's one thing I would like to stress, is stop looking up or looking outside of yourself for the answer. We can ask that guidance. I always ask for guidance, and I receive it. I welcome it, and I'm grateful for it. But the guidance always eventually leads us to find the master within. Find your own truth and connect with your own divine essence, your own spiritual nature, and work with this. Stay there and work from there. It is not going to serve anyone to wait on Kamu or to wait on Star Elders or this and that leader to do the work for us. What they're asking us, what they count on us for, is for us now to assume our God-given, natural, innate, inalienable, non-negotiable sovereignty. Stand for our rights, our freedom, for the truth we love and we cherish, for what we know is just. And that is part of healing the collective karma and raising the consciousness. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Stop hiding. Stop covering your face. Stop turning the blind eye or sticking head in the sand. And stop waiting for the elite or for someone else, some master or whatever, to come and take care of your karma and of our own collective karma. So we're coming close to an end here. So that's pretty much what I'd like to say today. And I would say the elders are looking for, not for followers or disciples, they're looking for a community of leaders, of spiritual warriors, men and women, who will stand on the front line, hold the line. It can be on many levels. You don't have to go in the street. You can do it from home. You can, but just stand at the right place in your heart, in your consciousness, with the right intention, like the right mind, the right actions, the right words, and work with your allies. They will be there for you. But do your steps. That's what they ask for us. That's what they expect. And that's why they offer their help. They don't offer to take care of our own karma. They offer to help us taking care of it. And as we're coming to an end, and daytime is going here, so you probably don't see my face anymore, but I will say thank you again to everyone and wish my blessings and that all this year and the next ones may be an increasing manifestation of higher collective consciousness and problem solving and healing, a great healing for humanity. Thank you.